Kaisha's kiss carried a scorching warmth, traveling from my lips all the way down to my neck, leaving behind one after another red marks, some deeper, some lighter. After I'm gone, the prodigal son returns. Kaiyan is a notorious playboy in the circle, yet I've always regarded him as my unattainable ideal. My white moonlight. At the age of 15, my mother arranged a marriage match for me. Kaiyan is the kind of guy you should just have fought with. He is not cut out for marriage. You know that, and so do I. Kaiyan just isn't right for you. I looked at the photo that had just arrived on my phone. The girl in the straps, in Kaiyan's arms, her neck and clothes were covered with numerous lipstick marks. I turned off my phone and nodded. What kind of people date? And what kind of people get married? I have a good idea in my heart. When I got home from school, I found a girl at home. That's the new assistant who just joined Kaiyan's side. The girl was very beautiful. She noticed a brief moment of awkwardness in my expression, but quickly composed herself and greeted me. Hello, Ms. Jian. I nodded, pretending not to notice the ambiguous mark on her neck. Kaiyan leaned against the door. Her hair slightly damp. The wide open bathrobe neckline revealed scattered scratches. He grabbed the girl and handed her a bag. Baby, I'm giving this to you. The girl lowered her head and gave a shy smile. Thank you, President Kai. As she passed by me, she glanced at me with a look of disdain and smug satisfaction. I suddenly felt that the gift I was holding in my hand seemed a bit unnecessary. Thinking back to my birthday not long ago, I made a special reservation at a restaurant and arranged for Kaiyan to come over. It's a pity he didn't remember that it was my birthday that day. Arriving late, she said with a smile. Sorry, I forgot. The girl I've been dating recently has a new love interest. Kaiyan still carried a faint scent of gardenia perfume on her skin. Noticing my unusual expression, Kaiyan leisurely pulled a cigarette from beside him. The air was filled with smoke, and Kaiyan spoke. Jian-sin, I've always been a lousy person. If you're not happy, feel free to break up any time. He lowered his head and leaned toward my lips. Continue speaking. Jian-sin, do you still want me? Seeing that I wasn't saying anything, he laughed even more heartily. She leaned down and drew close to kiss me. I instinctively dodged it. Kaiyan wasn't angry. His smile on his face had simply faded a bit. Dislike me? That's right. I do feel annoyed. The woman's perfume on Kaiyan was simply too overpowering. I couldn't help stepping back to paces. Yes, let's break up. Kaiyan stepped back toward the wall, laughing so hard that he was bent over with laughter. Jian-sin, aren't you tired of saying this? We've been dating for 2 years, and every time you get upset, you threaten to break up with me. When on earth are you going to get tired of playing this game? Honestly, people like you're really boring. It seems he didn't take my breakup words seriously at all. Also, I've been licking Kaiyan for 2 years. It agreed to anything he asked even when he proposed an open relationship. I still chose to say yes. Come. Kaiyan is a well-known playboy in the circle. I've got a little bit of money at home. Plus I'm quite good looking. So there have never been a shortage of pretty girls around me. But I still plunged headfirst into it. Kaiyan is my white moonlight. In high school, he saved me from drowning in a lake. The boy's hair was still dripping with water, yet his eyes were smiling warmly. Classmate, are you okay? Looking back, the years are unforgettable. My friend always asks me, what's so good about Kaiyan? H.E.S. Ficklin loves to play around, truly a Lothario who's not cut out for marriage at best. H.E.S. only suited for dating. Of course I know. I'm just waiting for this feeling deep within me to gradually fade away. That was when it was time for me to leave. Kaiyan, let's break up. Kaiyan finally realized that I was serious. A smile froze on her face. Even a cigarette but landing in the palm of my hand didn't elicit the slightest reaction. After a long while, he finally spoke. Are you kidding me? I took the documents from the safe, I said. You have a bad temper and never keep yourself clean. To be honest, you're just not suitable as a boyfriend. Kai-yen, you know. I'm a rather traditional person. I can't afford to play around. Everything ends here. There's no need to see each other again. I made a phone call to the housekeeper. Kai-yan stood there motionless until the doorbell rang. Lin Guanjia stood at the doorway. Miss, is there anything you'd like? Help Mr. Kai pack his luggage and take it away. Kai-yan smiled and sharply crushed the cigarette in his hand. Very nice to meet you, Jian-zin. If you've got the guts, don't come looking to get back together with me. I didn't listen to him. My gaze fell on the messy bedsheet over there, and I frowned. Uncle Lin, sell this house. Dirty and unclean, it really bothers me. By the time I turned around, Kai-yan had already slammed the door and stormed out. Leave a sentence. I don't want those things anymore. Lin Guanjia held the luggage, and our eyes met briefly. Throw it away. The phone screen lit up briefly. It's a message from my mother. Come by the old house sometime. I'm planning to sell this property, so Manager Lin is helping me tidy up the valuables along the way. He handed over a black velvet box. How should I handle this? I was stunned for a moment. There are 2 pairs of rings in the box. I gave it to Kai-yan last month. I want to get married, obviously. But Kai-yan had no such intention instead. He laughed mockingly. Jian-zin, you really want to marry me? What's so great about getting married? It's troublesome and restrictive. If you're thinking of getting married like that, just randomly picking someone off the street, don't come looking for me. I pressed down the lid. Send it back. Lin Guanjia nodded and continued tidying up. Had to pee. I returned to the old house. My mother is already waiting for me on the sofa. On the coffee table are photos of Kai-yan taken from various angles. Next to him each time there's a different type of girl leaning into his arms. My mother would never allow such as come back to set foot in our Jian family store. Jian-zin, you can have fun, there's no need to take it too seriously. I know you've got a thing for that kind of guy. The Kai family has an eldest son who's been obedient and sensible since childhood, has impeccable conduct, and is absolutely stunning minus looking. Pick a time and let's go meet up. My phone rings. My friend has sent me a message. It's a photo taken at a bar. Kai-yan is sitting on the edge of the sofa with a girl with big wavy hair sitting on his lap. The 2 were standing very close, smiling and whispering to each other. Her cheeks were high and prominent, and her clothes were covered with numerous lipstick marks. Axen, if you don't break up with him soon, don't even bother saying we're sisters when we go out in the future, I replied, glancing down at my phone. Already distributed. Mother handed over a photo of Kaishu. This is the child's photo. The man had cold, sharp eyebrows and eyes, and his facial features were well minus proportion. Compared to Kai-yan, he exudes a bit less of a nonchalant attitude. I've heard something about this elder of the Kai family. Raised by the Kai family from a young age, she specialized in studying various courses. After graduation, I started working at my family's company. I heard he is decisive and swift, quickly winning over his father's subordinates and winning the hearts of the people. Now he is a genuine young entrepreneur. Kai-yan is the youngest son and, having never been strictly disciplined since childhood, has developed a carefree and arrogant personality. The 2 look alike, but their personalities could not be more different. I hadn't intended to get involved at all and was just about to open my mouth to refuse. There's also the barely visible mermaid line. Then let's meet. Mother calmly took a sip of coffee, her face wearing an expression of complete understanding. Hing Shui himself is even more striking than in the photo. Dressed in a black trench coat, he stood there so striking that even the model in the poster seemed to pale in comparison. His face remained expressionless as he nodded at me. Hello, Miss Jian. I nodded and scanned the surroundings with my gaze. I did, however, discover something pretty remarkable. Although Kai-shu's expression remained calm, the fingers holding the coffee cup trembled slightly. There are also crimson earlobes. He is very nervous. I instinctively voiced the question lingering in my mind. Kaishu, are you very nervous? His earlobes became even redder. Miss Jim, I'm sorry, I've lost my composure a bit. I smiled. It's okay. Would you like to go for a walk? We walked side by side on the street. He suddenly spoke. Miss Jian, I know you used to date my younger brother. Perhaps this meeting isn't entirely of your own volition. If you're not willing to do it voluntarily, I can go talk to the elders. He stopped walking. After pondering for a moment, I feel there are some things that still need to be clarified. Kaishu, your younger brother and I have broken up. Also, this meeting was entirely my own choice. Kaishu's expressionless face lit up with ecstatic joy. Really? Realizing he might have been a bit out of line, he cleared his throat lightly. No, what I mean is, I'm really glad you broke up. I finally have a chance. No, what I mean is, I'm really happy to meet you. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Kaishu rubbed his hair, and the blush on his face had already spread down to his neck. Finally, he let out a weary sigh. Laugh it up. I leaned forward and gently pinched his reddened earlobe. Yuri's so cute. Kaisha's entire body felt as if every single hair was standing on end. Our meeting was very pleasant. I sat on the sofa and downed the drink in one gulp. I opened my moments, and not a single post was from KNFA. It's nothing more than bars, drinking, and taking photos with beautiful women. Being single feels so great. Anyone who wants to waste their time on pointless relationships can go ahead and talk about them. I think you'll be lonely forever. Things of this sort. Sent by a friend. Kayan is now posting videos on video platforms. And even just a few random clips can easily rack up hundreds of thousands of likes. I was bored, so I clicked on it just to take a look. The few clips on the homepage are all videos of him showing off his ABS. The number of likes is indeed impressive. The comments section has been overrun. Many netizens are expressing their feelings. Heh, so handsome. So handsome, so handsome. If I could have someone like this in this lifetime, I'd gladly die. Please, urgently request contact information. There are also some more open-minded memes. I'm stepping out and adding Kayan to my blacklist. All contact information has been deleted. For the next few days, I kept in touch with Kaishu. Kaishu was proactive, eating together, giving flowers, and presenting gifts without ever stopping. That day, he took me for a walk by the seaside. The sea breeze messed up my hair. We both had a bit to drink, and the atmosphere was somewhat. In the end, I don't know who started talking first. Hyen was pinned down on the sandy beach, his back pressed against a tree rump. I bit his lip and looked at him with red-rimmed eyes. I pressed my hand against the back of his neck and leaned in. She took a light bite and spoke. Kaishu, I'll take responsibility. Kaisha's eyes became even redder, but he obediently lowered his head. From the beach, to the living room, to the bed. We stopped at the final step. I got up and straightened my disheveled clothes. I lay helplessly on the bed, still reeling from what had just happened. Then he spoke. You, don't you like it? I turned my head and, on a whim, ran my hand through his hair. I really like it, so let's wait until after we're married, okay? The ecstasy in Kaishu's eyes vanished in an instant. I spoke up somewhat nervously. Then let's sleep together today. Kaishu glanced at me briefly, then quickly lowered his head again. If you're not willing, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to take a shower. I walked into the bathroom, and the pool turned red. Hyena's face drew closer to mine. After I finished washing up, I changed into a bathrobe and went straight to bed. I raised my eyes and was startled. Kaishu, why are you bleeding from your nose? Kaishu minus man covered his nose with a paper towel and apologized repeatedly. I didn't know you were here too. I leaned closer and looked at Kaishu in the bathroom. I watched with my own eyes as Kaishu, standing with his back to me in the bathroom, began to undress, each movement unusually slow. I turned my head sharply. Kaina's face appeared once more, and at this moment, I couldn't help myself. I live in the shadow of Kayan. Kaishu raised his hand and pressed me against the wall. Jianzhen, I've liked you for a long time. Kaiyan's phone rang. Jianzhen, I've had too much to drink, could you pick me up? I miss you so much. Could you come pick me up? Just as I was about to refuse, the man from Kaishu grabbed me by the arm. Cautious kiss descended, carrying a scorching warmth that traveled from my lips down to my neck, leaving behind one after another red marks. Some deep song. Don't think about him. His voice was hoarse and strained, his fingertips gripping mine so tightly they hurt. Jianzhen, look at me. I was kissed by him so deeply that I could hardly breathe. All the images of Kaiyan instantly dissolved, leaving only his eyes, the man with reed-rimmed eyes and a rigid body. He kissed me gently, as if I were a rare treasure, his breath trembling even as he did so. Sinzin, I've been waiting for you for 3 years, he said, pressing his forehead against mine. His voice tinged with resentment. I saw you that time in high school by the lake. I froze suddenly, staring at him in disbelief. You was I who asked Kaiyan to go save you, he said with a bitter smile, his fingertips lightly brushing against my cheek. I didn't dare, I was afraid you'd be scared of me, so I sent him instead. Later, watching you follow him, watching you grieve for him, I've hated myself for 3 years. So that's how it is. It turns out the white moonlight I've been longing for all along was never Kaiyan to begin with. Kaiyan was nothing more than a stand minus in HED pushed in front of me, while the real him had always been standing in the shadows, watching me cry for others and laugh for others. Kaishu. I reached out to hug him, my voice slightly choked with emotion. I'm sorry I didn't know before. It's okay. He held me tighter and kissed the top of my head. It's never too late to know now. That night we didn't do anything. We just held each other and talked all night long. He told me that HED been noticing me ever since high school, watching me chase after Kaiyan, watching me compromise for him, watching me get hurt again and again, yet all he could do was stand by and watch helplessly. I'm afraid that as soon as I get close, you'll start thinking I'm just like Kaiyan, he said softly, then gently kissed me. Forehead. I can only wait. Wait for you to turn around. After the breakup, Kaiyan completely lost it. After I blocked him, he started frantically reaching out to me, even showing up downstairs at Gianna's group to ambush me, but was firmly stopped by Kaisha's bodyguards. Let her out. Kaiyan shouted angrily at Kaishu, her eyes red with fury. Kaishu, are you fucking stealing my woman? Kaishu leaned against my waist and said softly, she's no longer your woman. Kaiyan, you're either one who didn't cherish her. Don't you cherish me? Kaiyan laughed a wild, manic laugh. Jianzhen, didn't you say you'd wait for me forever? How could you end up with my brother? I looked at him and felt only unfamiliarity. Kaiyan, I've been waiting for you for 2 years and I've waited long enough, I said. Leaning against Kai's chest in a calm tone. You once said you weren't suited for marriage and didn't want to be tied down. I'm letting you go. Kai Yanghong rushed forward to grab my hand, but Kaishu brushed him aside with a flick of his wrist. Stay away from her, Kaishu said, his gaze chillingly cold. Kaiyan, don't push me too far. As Kaiyan watched Kaishu protect me, she suddenly burst into laughter, laughing so hard that tears streamed down her face. So it turns out you've liked her all along? So it turns out you've been laughing at me this whole time? He pointed at Kaishu, his voice trembling. You're a fucking hypocrite. He smashed things frantically and in the end, he was escorted away by bodyguards. As he was leaving, he kept shouting, Jianzhen. I was wrong, please come back. It'll change everything. I didn't look back. For some people, once you've missed them, you've really missed them. Especially someone like Kaiyan, a lifelong wanderer. I suppose turning back is nothing more than the lingering regret that comes after losing something. Later, Kaiyan completely disappeared from my life. I heard HES cut off all his romantic entanglements, turned down every social engagement, and spends his days at home drinking. His whole demeanor has become utterly dejected. I also heard that he went to lurk around the door of the house we used to live in but found out that it already sold it. He stayed there for several days, and finally left with red minus rimmed eyes. My wedding with Kaishu was very low minus key. Only close family and friends from both sides were invited. At the wedding, he took my hand, his eyes red minus rimmed, his voice choked with emotion. Zinzin. Thank you for giving me this chance. I smiled and returned his handshake. It's actually me who should be thanking you. Thank you for waiting for me. After getting married, Kaishu pampered me like a princess. He remembers all my preferences, plans trips for me in advance, brings me hot soup to the office when I'm working overtime, and warms a hot water bottle for me to hold against my body during my period. He never says sweet nothings, yet he gives me all his tenderness. Once, while sorting through old belongings, I came across the ring that Kai Yan had given me years ago. Kaishu leaned in, glanced at the ring, and said softly, "Just throw it away." I looked at him and suddenly laughed. "I threw it away ages ago." He paused for a moment, then reached out to hug me. "Zinzin, please stop thinking about him, okay? Silly." I patted his back. "I stopped thinking about him ages ago. I know that Kai Yan might have truly turned back, but by the time he did, it already long since moved on from where it'd been. His return as the prodigal son to me is nothing more than a belated awakening, and I, meanwhile, have already found my own true home." Later, I happened to run into Kai Yan once on the street. He was wearing a simple white T-minus shirt and jeans, with his hair cut short. Gone was his former flamboyance, now he looked much more mature. When he saw the hand I was holding with Kaishu, his steps paused for a moment. Then he lowered his head, turned around, and walked away. Kaishu gripped my hand tightly and asked softly, "Do you want to go over and say hello?" I shook my head and leaned against his chest with a smile. "Tang, no need, let's go. Some people are destined to walk with you only for a certain stretch of the road. Kai Yan is my white moonlight and also a grand regret from my youth, but Kai Shut Hat's the one who can walk through life with me." He didn't offer Earth minus shattering declarations of love, nor did he stage a dramatic comeback as a wayward soul. Yet with gentle, steady kindness, he pulled me out of the shadows of my past and gave me a secure future. Sunlight streamed through the leaves and fell upon us. Kaishu lowered his head and kissed my forehead, then whispered softly, "Zinzin, from now on, every year on this day, you'll spend it with you." I smiled and nodded, then firmly grasped his hand.